Hello again and welcome to the 5th episode of the Scoring from the 50 podcast. Today we will be talking about some of the best games of the weekend. We have games today, Saturday, Sunday, and one on Monday. We're in for a great weekend of college football. Week 1, starting off, we will be talking about Florida and Utah. Florida is at Utah this year. QB play is going to be the story of this game. Bryson Barnes will be in for the injured Cam Rising. The junior has one start. He started against Washington State. He's 1-0 in his only start. Played all right, not great. Graham Mertz, the new Florida quarterback, transferred from Wisconsin this offseason. How good is he? Because we've heard from Billy Napier that they talked to Wisconsin and said that they misused him. So is he going to be a top caliber QB? Maybe he will. Maybe he was misused at Wisconsin. Maybe he was just Graham Mertz. He might not be good. He might be great. Who knows? But another huge piece of this game, Florida. Can the rest of the roster step up to the plate and make big plays when they're needed, especially the defense and especially the receivers? Can they step up and make a play when it's needed? They have a 60% blue chip ratio, which is the percentage of 4- and 5-star players on your roster. That's good for like 10th best in college football. Can the rest of the very talented roster step up and win them a game? My pick for this game, yes, they can. The rest of their team will step up when it's needed. I did pick Utah to win before the season in the last episode. Go check that one out. But I picked Utah to win that. But I'm going to switch my pick because Cam Rising isn't playing. I think it'll be maybe like 13-10, 17-14. Very low scoring game. But Florida barely pulls it out and upsets ranked Utah in Utah. Moving on from the best game today. Mind you, that is in 3.5 hours. It's currently 3:24 Central Time, so I got a few hours before the game. I am so excited to have college football back. Let me tell you guys, I have been counting down the days. You can talk to anyone from my school, they know I've been counting down the days till Saturday. And then Monday I realized, wait, it starts on Thursday? And I got so excited. But we are here. We survived another off season. Man, I feel great. Doesn't it feel great to be back? Man, Florida, Utah, ranked team against a good SEC team. Historically good, I should say. But super excited to have it back. 2 more days until Saturday. We have games at all day. And then Sunday, oof, we got a doozy. It is LSU and Florida State. Super excited for that. And then Clemson and Duke, probably the biggest upset watch of the week. We're in for a great weekend. Now, my second game that I have that is must watch is Colorado at TCU, big noon Saturday. Deion Sanders, brand new Power 5 head coach, facing the reigning national runner-ups. There's not really much else to talk about other than that because I don't think those teams are going to be very good. But Deion Sanders, Neon Deion, will be coaching the Colorado Buffs against the reigning national championship runner-ups. If that's not intriguing, I don't know what is. Questions I have about this game: is Deion Sanders going to be a good coach? I think he's going to be a good coach, but more importantly, will the roster be good enough? The 1-11 roster be good enough to win, 6 games? Because from 1 to 6 wins, that'd be an amazing year for Colorado. I know there's a lot of hype around Deion and what he can do there, and I do believe that will come eventually in time, but this year, can they win 5-6 games? Can they make a bowl? That should be their goal, is to just make a bowl. On the TCU side, losing a lot of offensive players, a lot of defensive players. Kyer Winter, Max Dugan, Quentin Johnson, just a few off the top of my head. They're all gone. Will they be able to replace them and be at least a shell of their former selves? Because even that will be a good 8 to 10 win team. I think they can. I don't know if they will. They have a great head coach. First year took them to a national championship game. Of course he's a great coach, but can he sustain that for 2 more years? I think TCU will at least win this game. I don't think Colorado's quite ready yet, especially Dion is not ready yet. Really, the roster is not good enough. They will not be able to match up to TCU. They're too small, too young, too just not good. Respectfully, they're just not good. My pick, TCU, too much talent for a bad, undersized Colorado team. Moving on to Boise State at Washington on Saturday. I do think Boise State is able to upset Washington, but that will only happen if Washington can make enough mistakes to allow Boise State to win. Washington has a great offense, ton of weapons. Michael Penix, one of the best quarterbacks in college football, but how good will the defense be? That is the main question for all Pac-12 teams, not just Washington, but how good will that defense be? They have one good edge rusher, but that's it. Not sure how much they have else other than that. So I'm curious to see how good Washington's defense will look. Boise State is a good enough team to beat Washington if Washington makes mistakes. I just don't think they will. Washington is just too good. They won't be upset, and they will win that game. Moving on to the whiteout game, West Virginia at Penn State. Only reason why this game is on there is because it is the whiteout game. Kind of disappointed that it wasn't Penn State hosting Michigan as the whiteout. As a Michigan fan, I'm really happy about that we avoided that, but as a college football fan, really disappointed about that. But you cannot not watch the whiteout, and seeing that whole stadium completely white and them absolutely going crazy, they're going to blow the water out of West Virginia. Won't be a good game at all, but that's a game you can't miss. Every single year, year in, year out, can't miss the whiteout. Now moving on to North Carolina at South Carolina. Questions for this game. QB play. Spencer Rattler, Drake May. We know how good Drake May is, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Spencer Rattler. Who are we going to get out of Spencer Rattler? Can we get the 2020 Spencer Rattler? Or the Spencer Rattler that played against Tennessee? Or Clemson? Or are we going to get the rest of 2022 or 2021 Spencer Rattler? Last year, they did switch offensive coordinators right before the Clemson and Tennessee games, and that led to them scoring a ton of points. Can we see that change impact this year as well? Can Spencer Rattler use that new playbook and go win some football games for South Carolina? Maybe get him back into a decent round draft pick. Remember a few years ago whenever he was projected number 1 overall? What a time to be alive that was. Wow. No. Spencer Rattler, can he be good enough to win South Carolina games? Will the offensive coordinator be good enough to win South Carolina games? That is the question. For North Carolina, how good is their defense? If they can play top 30 to 40 defense, they'll compete for an ACC championship. But their defense just is not good enough to do that. Didn't really add anything out of the portal. They lost Storm Duck, a 4-star corner, to Penn State. I really don't think North Carolina defense is going to be any good this year. But if they somehow can be, if they somehow improve, even just a little bit, they'll be a great team, especially good enough to win an ACC championship or at least compete for one. Now, my pick, North Carolina. North Carolina will win this game solely just because I think Drake May and that North Carolina offense is just too good. I think they'll win in the shootout. It'll be like 45 to 40, something like that. It'll be a really close game, but it'll be a really high-scoring game. No defense will be played, and if there is defense being played, it'll be from South Carolina, and South Carolina will win the game. But I don't think they're going to be good enough to stop Drake May or the weapons they have on that team. And North Carolina, I'll put in a score prediction for this game. I'll go 52 to 45. North Carolina will beat South Carolina in a really, really good Week 1 game. Now, moving on to the second best game of the week is Clemson at Duke. Another quarterback that we will learn about this week is Cade Klubnik. Will we get the 5-star out of high school, or will we get the above-average Power 5 star? Because his potential is through the roof, right? But he just hasn't shown that yet. He's shown flashes. He's been good at times. He's beat out DJ Uiagalelei. First attempt to pronounce his name, but beat him out last year for the starting job, and that's on a team where Dabo Swinney loves seniors. Loves the older guy, always goes with him every single time if it's anywhere near close. But he just beat him out. Just straight up beat him out for the starting job. So can we get that guy who plays like he's still competing for a job instead of like, oh yeah, I got the job, I can just do whatever, you know. Can he be that 5-star out of high school with immense potential? Can he go out and win them a game this week? Can he go out and win them 12 games? Go 12-0 into the ACC championship? He can, but will he? He has the potential to. Clemson has the potential to. New offensive coordinator Garrett Riley, great coach right there. Took TCU to a national championship game last year. Took TCU to a national championship game last year. Huge addition on the offensive coaching staff. He's going to be great for Cade Klubnik, I think. Now the question is, can Cade live up to the hype? Duke, they're good. Don't sleep on the Blue Devils. They are a good football team. The question is, how good? They have a great quarterback, have a good defense, have a good coach. Can they win against the good teams like Clemson or Florida State or Miami? Those good teams in the ACC, North Carolina. Can they beat the top teams in the ACC to start competing for a conference championship? I think they have the talent to do so this year, but will they is the question. Can they go like 8-4 or 9-3, 10-2? They have the potential to. Will they? I don't think it'll be that good, but my pick for this game will be Duke. I think Cade Klubnik is too young. He's just a sophomore. I know he's been playing for a year, but he's just a sophomore. New coaches, lots of changes around the Clemson program. I really do not think that Clemson can win this game. I think they're going to make too much mistakes, and Duke is a very, very solid team, and they will take advantage of those mistakes that Clemson will make. If I had to put in a score prediction, I'd say 33-28. Duke upsets Clemson in a stunner. Clemson, oh man, they got to go into Duke. Like I just said, a bunch of new coaches. Everything's new there. Dabo Swinney has not been active in the transfer portal whatsoever, and I think the game's kind of passing him by, leaving him in the dust. So I think Clemson is just not a good 2023 football team. If we took this team and put them 2016, 2017, I think they'd be good, nowhere near as good as those Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence teams, but they'd be good, but I don't think they're going to be that good going from 2023 and on. I don't think they're going to be that good. So I do think they are going to lose this game solely because they will make too much mistakes, too much newness for Cade Klubnik. I think they will figure it out. They will be good down the line. As the season progresses, they'll get better. But this week, week 1, I think Duke stuns Clemson in Duke. Moving on. My game of the week every single week, I will have a game of the week. Florida State and LSU, obviously, easy choice this week for game of the week. Two absolute heavyweights. This game was impossible to analyze for me, but the keys came down to, can Florida State play defense? I think they can. They have some really good players on the defense, especially on the defensive line, but can they be elite? Can they stop a Jaden Daniels? Can they stop a Malik Neighbors? That's the question. I know they're good, but can they be great? Can they beat the top players? Can we slow them down and make them beat them another way than just throwing it? Can they make them run the ball? Because they have a good defensive line. And LSU, I think they'll have a really good offensive line this year, but they've been a little shaky in recent years. If they can make them run the ball on Sunday night, they'll have a much better shot at winning that game. Another question. 2 elite QBs. Which one is going to step up and win their team a football game? Will it be Jayden Daniels, Heisman candidate this year? I'm just going to say it. He's good enough. He's good enough to win the Heisman. He could. Not saying he will. He's not my pick, certainly, but he's good enough that he could. If he plays his heart out and just plays out of his mind, he could. Same with Jordan Travis. Both are going to be great quarterbacks this season. Which one can step up and win their team the game? We haven't seen Jordan Travis do that before. We have seen Jayden Daniels do that before. Will he be in a position to need to? We'll see about that. But I think if one of the two is going to, it would be Jayden Daniels. I could not be more excited about this game, okay? Last year we got it, and it was a great game. Blocked field goal to win it, but now they're both top 10 teams. Both have playoff aspirations. Both. This game will affect the landscape of college football this year, and it's going to put one of them at one loss right off the bat to start the season, having to win the rest of their games to make the college football playoff. Almost impossible to do if you're either team. But if there were 2 teams that I think could do it, it would be these 2 teams. Both teams are great. Florida State has a great run game, great receivers. Jordan Travis is a great quarterback. He's going to be really good this year. I just said that, but he's going to be so good. He's going to have lots of weapons. Can they step up and win against a really, really, really good SEC LSU school? They are my pick to make a college football playoff. I have them in the national championship. I picked them to win this game already, and I'm going to pick them again to do it. I just think Jayden Daniels is going to play out of his mind on Sunday night. He's done it before. He did it against Alabama last year. He is going to play really good. He's going to throw the ball to Malik Neighbors a ton of times. They're going to figure out the run game, because if they can run the ball, they'll win this game easy, because their offense is going to be too good for Florida State's offense to stop. My official score prediction will be 42-35, a high-scoring game. Lots of defense being played at times, but some not good defense, some high-caliber offenses going at it. But I will pick LSU to steal this one in New Orleans. Not a huge fan of it being in New Orleans, you should know. Just, I love games being on campus. There's only 2 games that I like being off campus, and it's Oklahoma, Texas, and Florida, Georgia, because they've always have been. And the Texas State Fair, it's a great place to have a great college football game. Can't have those 2 leave those sites. But back to this, I love LSU in this game. I'm not super confident, but I love LSU. I think their defense is going to be too good. They have some great defensive players. They're going to step up to the plate and make some plays when it's needed. They're going to pounce on Florida State's mistakes if they make any. That's why I think LSU is going to win this game. 42-35. Jayden Daniels, their defense, too good to stop. That will do it for this episode of the Scoring from the 50 podcast. Kind of a shorter one, but not a ton of great games, but a great weekend for week 1. Don't really expect much from a week 1. No conference games, but this week will deliver perfectly. This will be a great injection into the veins. Great way to start college football off. Utah and Florida, just a few hours away from kickoff. The first real game of the football season. I could not be more excited. I've been counting down to the days. Today I just kept saying, oh my gosh, we did it. We finally did it. Made it to another season of a great college football season. I am so excited. It's going to be a great year. Going to have great teams. Lots of parity this year. Have some down years for Alabama, Georgia. New quarterbacks at Ohio State. Then we're going to have some LSU step up. Okay, Florida State getting up there. Clemson, are they going to be back? Michigan, they're a top team in the country because they have the least amount of question marks. USC, the top offense in the country. And then the Pac-12 is just going to be great. They're all going to take each other out. I'll go like 10-2. It's going to be beautiful, and I am so excited. I'm so glad that it is back. I cannot wait to talk to you guys every Tuesday, every Thursday, talking about recapping the games and previewing the games on Thursday. I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will talk to you guys again next Tuesday to review the games I just talked about. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you then.